And Daryn from Calvert Foundation, or advisor to the Calvert Foundation, and also a member of TONIC. TONIC is an impact investing network, of which Partnership with Change is also a member, the host member of Norway, and which has been also presented here today earlier in a panel. So please, Daryn, could you talk a little about the partnerships that you have in Calvert Foundation?
Sure. I'll start off with, I was inspired. Today is my birthday, among other things. So I so appreciate Ingrid inviting me here on my birthday. I can't think of a better way to celebrate than with all of you. I'll start off by sharing a quick poem. It's called A Moon-Hugged Man. This is a poem that I wrote. A moon-hugged man, but one life, a strive to dim light. I'm not done until I open the dark crater within. Raw material ran away, his hand reshaped clay. Lost and found, graced and wound, here I am, a moon-hugged man. This poem I was inspired to share this morning largely because of a wonderful dinner I had with Yosef last night, who shared with me a bunch of different things, but one of the core tenets of this conference that I have the pleasure of sharing with is the idea that the feeling of belonging and the human desire for belonging can be channeled in different directions. We heard about this morning how it could be channeled in extremist directions. We heard about, in other inspiring stories, how it could be channeled to do a tremendous good in the world. And I'll just say that the spirit of interconnectedness and the foundation of poetry is one of the things that I think is at the center of this sharing in the positive light. And it's inspiring to be here with you guys today to discuss it. I think whenever I speak, there's a tendency to talk about the Calvert Funds where I work, which is a $15 billion organization, company dedicated and pioneering a pioneer in the field of socially responsible investing. I also serve on the board of Ben & Jerry's, a subsidiary company of Unilever with a fiercely independent board that as part of the sales agreement with Unilever was defined to shepherd the social mission of the company in the 34 countries that we're in around the world. I think on my first trip to Oslo, and in this context, I would also just say that and appreciate that before I'm either of those things, I'm a human being. And in this conference, it feels incredibly, I don't know how you created this incredibly vulnerable atmosphere for people to be able to share at such a deep level so quickly. So I'm so inspired to be here in these different conversations. I'll share some of the activities of Calvert Special Equities, which has been a co-investor with Acumen and a few companies in different areas of the world. We're about an $80 million program where 1% of the assets of our shareholders at Calvert, of that larger $15 billion number that I mentioned before, are enabled to invest in some of the most transformative companies in the world and private equity funds that fund those companies through this program. Some of the things that some of the industries that we've been inspired to invest in are healthcare, microinsurance, education, water, and consumer product goods. I'll quickly read through some of the metrics because some people process investments most clearly through some of the metrics. So one of the companies that we invested in has provided 700,000 teachers with high quality curriculum around the world. Another company, I know I've talked to a number of people about dropout rates here in Norway. In the United States, we have a tremendous problem around dropout rates. Another company has provided credits to over 6,000 high school dropouts around the United States, geared towards graduation and helping them get into graduate. Another company, I know that we heard earlier today about kind of online access to education, has provided 10,000 students online access to affordable education around the world, and that company recently IPO'd at over $1 billion. In terms of environmental metrics, we've had the pleasure of investing in companies that have reduced over 1 million pints of toxic chemicals around the world, companies that have saved over $5.6 billion in annual energy costs, and then finally, over 20 companies in China that have been a part of different initiatives for cleaner air, water, and other renewable resources in China, as one of the first investors in the Chinese Environmental Fund, one of the first environmental funds in China. So in terms of partnerships, I'll start with just one of the leading trends that I see, and I know Nexus is a partner of this conference that sits right at the crux of the $40 trillion that are moving from asset holders in the current generation to millennials in the next generation. And that's one of the most inspiring things about being in this field right now, is the ability to be really helping to create products and investment opportunities around folks like Acumen and others that enable this more kind of this generation that's dedicated to seeing one of its primary reasons for investing as making a difference in the world, to have different products and services that they're able to invest in around the world, like many of the companies that I've mentioned earlier, and the types of outcomes that they're having. And then finally, we've seen, in addition to millennials, we've seen family offices that are investing alongside us and partnering with us to create more of these different opportunities, as well as high net worth individuals and foundation endowments that have really been pushing to do these similar types of investments globally. So with that, I'll sit down and then share more on the panel.
Thank you very much. So it's interesting that you're also working together with Acumen, or co-investing with Acumen, and this is, I guess, very typical now for our time, that we are all trying to solve the problems, and we try to do it together, and we sort of stand on each other's shoulders, we work together, and we bring each other to the table, which I think is a very positive way.